Hey everyone, imagine a future where India builds its own electric vehicles, advanced missiles, and cutting edge smartphones, all without depending on China for the critical raw materials that power them. That future just came a step closer. In 2025, India signed a game changing deal with Australia for rare earth elements, and it could reshape the entire global tech and defense supply chain. So, what exactly is in this deal, and why is it being called one of the most strategic moves India has made in years? Let's break it down in simple terms. India and Australia signed a major agreement to work together on rare earth materials. These are special metals used in everything from electric vehicles to missiles, smartphones, and wind turbines. The goal is to help India build a reliable supply of these resources, especially since China controls most of the world's rare earth processing and has been tightening exports. And you might be thinking, wait, how did China end up controlling it all in the first place? Well, China invested early, not just in mining but also in refining and magnet production. It made rare earths so cheap that other countries stopped trying to compete. That's how it ended up dominating the entire supply chain. The deal covers several rare earth elements like samarium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, and lutetium. These are essential for high-tech products, clean energy systems, and defense equipment. India will get access to Australia's rare earth mines through long-term contracts or investments. Both countries will also support joint ventures and technology sharing projects. To boost research, a joint fund has been created that will provide about 3.8 million Australian dollars each year. This money will go into clean mining, processing tech, and recycling. Some parts of the deal are already signed as MOUs, while others are in the early investment phase. Implementation is expected to pick up by the end of 2025. Now at this point, you may wonder, what kind of research are we talking about here? This money will be used for clean mining technology, recycling systems, and new ways to process rare earths more efficiently. Things that make production safer, cleaner, and cheaper over time. On the Indian side, companies like Vedanta, Nalco, Hindustan Copper, NMDC, and Coal India are expected to be involved, especially through the PSU consortium cable. From Australia's side, major players like Lynas, Arafura Resources, and Iluka Resources will likely play a key role in supplying the materials and transferring knowledge. This partnership isn't a short-term fix. It's meant to last for at least a decade and fits into India's bigger goal of becoming self-reliant in critical minerals by 2040. One big reason behind this move is to reduce dependence on China, especially after Beijing introduced new restrictions that could threaten industries in other countries. India is not alone in trying to cut reliance on China. Countries across the world are forming new alliances to secure rare earth materials, and this deal is one piece of that global puzzle. Australia also benefits from this deal. It wants to be a trusted supplier for democratic countries, especially those in the Quad Alliance: India, Japan, the US, and Australia. The Australian government has even blocked some Chinese investments in its mining sector to keep control over strategic resources. So why is Australia being so careful about who invests in its mines? Because it wants to avoid giving any strategic leverage to rival powers. By blocking certain deals, they are making sure that critical minerals stay in safe, allied hands. This rare earth deal lines up with the broader Indo-Pacific vision. It's not just about minerals, it's about building stronger regional ties, supporting clean energy transitions, and boosting defense capabilities in a more secure way. For India, the benefits are huge. It will reduce risks in the supply chain, lower costs for manufacturers, and create new jobs in processing and refining. The deal also opens the door for joint research and development in key areas like recycling and clean technology. And you might ask, what kind of jobs are we talking about here? These could be in advanced labs, clean tech research, rare earth separation, or even in manufacturing of EV parts, magnets, and high-end electronics. It's a whole new industry in the making. These rare earth materials are vital for making strong magnets used in motors, turbines, and high-tech defense gear. And here's where it gets even more futuristic. What about AI, robotics, or drones? Are they connected to this? Absolutely. Rare earth magnets and alloys are also key to powering AI hardware, drones, robotic arms, and smart defense systems. Without them, most advanced tech just wouldn't work. Having a stable source of rare earths will also help India ramp up EV and defense manufacturing. Though it won't fix all issues related to semiconductor dependency, it will still help India strengthen its tech supply chain, especially in magnets and motors. That raises another question. Can this help with India's chip problem too? Not quite. Chips rely on other materials and fabrication processes. But this deal will strengthen everything around those chips, like the magnets, sensors, and motors they power. In the military and space sectors, these metals are used in stealth tech, guidance systems, advanced sensors, and satellite communication. The agreement ensures that India's strategic programs have steady access to these materials. There is also strong support for joint R&D. Both countries will collaborate on mining, processing, and recycling methods. Early-stage projects are already being planned and funded. This includes clean technology and innovations in material science. These rare earths will directly support India's space and missile programs. That makes this deal more than just an economic move. It's a step towards securing national defense and space infrastructure. Of course, environmental and social issues are part of the picture. Some rare earth mining in Australia has raised concerns among local communities and indigenous groups. Water safety, land use, and ecological damage are top priorities now, and Australia has tightened rules to handle them responsibly. And naturally, aren't there protests or pushback against this kind of mining? Yes, in some areas. That's why Australia now includes sustainability clauses and works with local communities to reduce harm and manage long-term impact. This isn't the first time India and Australia have partnered on critical minerals. Previous agreements in 2020 and 2022 laid the foundation for today's expanded collaboration, which reflects a high level of diplomatic trust and shared goals in the Indo-Pacific. While China hasn't openly criticized the deal, it's definitely keeping a close watch. Moves like this could slowly chip away at China's market power and influence over strategic materials. That leads to the big question: how might China react? Well, they might not say much officially, but they're watching closely. In the past, they've tried undercutting deals by flooding markets with cheaper materials. But long-term trust matters more now than price tags. The global response has been positive. Tech and auto companies see this as a smart step toward diversifying the supply chain. Countries like Japan, the US, and South Korea are also strengthening ties with Australia for the same reasons. India is also likely to use this strategic access to bargain better terms in global trade talks, particularly under new digital economy and green tech frameworks being discussed at G20 and WTO platforms. India is preparing for this shift by planning new refining and magnet production facilities. The government is backing the effort with major incentives, and several public and private projects are already in motion. India does have its own rare earth deposits, mostly in states like Odisha, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. But challenges like outdated tech, weak infrastructure, and environmental hurdles have slowed progress. This deal gives us breathing room while we build that up. These domestic issues are exactly why the Australia deal is so important right now. It helps bridge the gap while India ramps up its internal capacity. To begin with, the deal could meet about 10 to 25% of India's rare earth needs by 2026. As domestic capacity grows, this share will increase, helping India become more self-sufficient. India's demand for rare earths is growing fast. With booming EV, renewable and electronic sectors, the country is expected to double its rare earth consumption by 2030. Now that's a huge number, but how much of a global player can India really become here? Well, the deal positions India not just as a buyer, but as a future hub for refining, processing, and even exporting rare earth-based components. That's a big shift in global tech supply chains. What's even more important is that this deal gives India long-term leverage in global tech diplomacy, as rare earths are essential for AI hardware, robotics, and advanced semiconductors, the very sectors shaping global influence today. There are some concerns though. Critics worry that India might simply replace one dependency with another if it relies too heavily on Australia. That's why India is also exploring other global and domestic options. Fair point. So what's India doing to avoid putting all its eggs in one basket? It's already talking to countries like Vietnam, Brazil, and the US. Plus, it's speeding up exploration and tech upgrades at home. Basically, it's hedging its bets. This rare earth deal could shape India's future in ways we've never seen before. It's not just about securing materials. It's about building strength, trust, and independence in an uncertain global world. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breakdowns on India's global moves. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this deal truly gives India an edge over China? Or is it just the beginning of a much bigger shift in the Indo-Pacific? Let's discuss below.